All right, folks, good evening and welcome to the 2024 Connecticut Rivers Council Scouts BSA Camp Kickoff. We appreciate you spending some of your Sunday night with us as we roll out all the exciting things this summer. There is some irony in the fact that it's like 15 degrees in New England right now, and we're talking about summer camp, but very aspirational for good things to come. So we're trying to be respectful of your time tonight. And so we hope to keep our presentation under an hour here. So a couple of housekeeping items. One, we are in webinar mode, so you don't see the screen of about 150 people all across there. You can drop questions in, and we will answer them as the webinar goes on, and then do a Q&A at the end. If you are on Facebook Live, you're welcome to add any comments or questions you have there, and we will hit them up as well. So let's kick it off. We have an all-star panel here, some of the finest scouting has to offer here in New England. So I just want to introduce your co-host for tonight. My name is Pat Boyd, and I'm the director at J.N. Webster. Here we have Jeremy Nelson, the director at Camp Mattatuck. Want to say hello, Jeremy?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Excellent, excellent. We have Sean Fogel. Sean, we tried to improve the picture this year. You gave us a lot of criticism of your photo last year. So Director of Support Services, Connecticut Rivers Council. So newly minted Vigil Honor member of the Order of the Arrow. Welcome, Sean.
Thanks. I just wanted to say it's good that I can't have a picture without you two on the left and right of me too. So that's good. Just always a constant reminder.
We're tethered together, like for good, bad, and ugly. And welcoming to his webinar debut, Mark Schweitzer. Mark is the new Scout Executive, the Connecticut Rivers Council, and he has hit the ground running. So, Mark, you want to say hello?
Hello, everybody. I usually talk with my hands, so that's an interesting picture. I've got hands in my pockets, so good shot.
Excellent. So we're happy to have you on the webinar. If Sunday night webinars is your thing, we have a deal for you. Next Sunday at this exact same time, we will be rolling out the Connecticut Rivers Council Cub Scout camp program that exists, and talking about our day camp, our resident camp, family camp, all that good stuff. So there's still time to sign up for that on Sunday, January 28th. If you're a Scouts BSA unit, make sure that your Cub Pack is aware that we're going to be rolling out all the Cub Scout information 1 week from tonight. A couple of commercials as we start off. Our camps are open year-round, and if your troop is looking for a place to tent camp, to use one of our cabins or a shelter, we have 4 beautiful properties in the Connecticut Rivers Council that you can stay at, including Camp Barber, often forgotten in the conversation, but a wilderness camp up in Norfolk, Connecticut as well. So if you're interested in camping at one of our 4 camps, or you signed up early and so you have a free tent camping, this is the QR code to look for availability. And also we want to give a plug for Camp Orcomen, which is our council's short-term camp, which is celebrating 100th anniversary this year. And Jeremy's going to talk very briefly about short-term, long-term camp. A lot of people are kind of confused. So Jeremy.
Yeah, sure. As you can see on the slide that Pat just had up previously, and then on this slide here, and there's only 2 of us represented here at the meeting. So we wanted to make sure to address the difference between short-term camp and long-term camp. And this is our summer long-term camp kickoff. And that's why the short-term camp at Camp Orcomen isn't here. But it's an incredible program that they offer at Camp Orcomen, and we wanted to make sure that that was highlighted this evening right here at the beginning. So the difference between short-term camp and long-term camp is up there on the screen now. But basically, a short-term camp is a council-organized overnight event. So that means you have council staff there. They're running the event. They're putting on the program for you. And that event can last 1, 2, or 3 nights in length. Once you get over that 3-night in length, so 4 nights or longer, it transitions into a long-term camp, which is also a council organized camp where we would have a camp director, staff, and other people putting on program for you, providing food service and those type of things at our long-term camping facilities. So we do think it's important to stress the difference and understand that Camp Orcomen's program is there, and it also helps to facilitate and make sure that our scouts can have and do have long-term and short-term camping programs here in Connecticut Rivers Council. So it is a really great opportunity. We have 3 amazing facilities with great staff that put on programs for depending on the availability of units and or scouts. Thanks,
So,
Pat.
yeah, if you're looking for 1 or 2 day programs, there's a great catalog on campworkcoman.org. I believe, and Sean can correct me if I'm wrong, but the only scuba diving that you can do in the state of Connecticut in the council is run at Camp Work Coman, a great unique program. And so that's 1 or 2 day programs, and long-term camp, which we're talking about all tonight, is kind of your traditional week-long resident camp as well. So we want to just kind of hit that up in the beginning. And so again, our agenda for tonight is we're going to wrap up with some welcomes. We're going to talk about what's new in each of our camps, get into kind of the finance, when fees are due, what the fees are, the campership program, some health and safety stuff. And then we're here to take your answers. So we're hoping to keep this under an hour, but please send us your questions. In case you're counting, which I know that that Mark every day gets up and crosses a different day on the calendar, that we're 1 day closer to summer camp. So those of you at home, we are officially 153 days from when we opened summer camp this year. So we have to wait a little bit longer, but every day we get closer to that. Who said this incredibly thoughtful quote? Ooh, Jeremy, is that you raising your hand?
I believe it was Baden Powell. Mr.
Baden
Nolan.
Powell, that guy was on to something. That guy was on to something. A week
He kinda knows what he's talking
6
about.
months in the meeting room. That's great. That's what we do here. So troops, we want to make summer camp the highlight of your troops year and get you energized for the rest of the year. And nothing will get us more energized on this webinar than hearing from Mark. And as we said before, Mark hit the ground running when he joined the council in July, literally started with the council and was out at summer camp later that week. And so it's been incredibly, probably a crazy ride for you to end the year and start a new one off. But we wanted to give you a chance to welcome folks and kind of give your perspective. So Mark, the floor is yours.
Great. Thanks, Pat. If we haven't had a chance to meet Mark Schweitzer, I'll be the new scout executive for at least 3 years. So I'm looking forward to an opportunity to get to meet everybody in person. Pat's exactly right. I started right at the beginning of summer camp and tried to make myself available for visits to camps, and then we did a tour to roundtables and just trying to get out there and meet everybody. Pat asked me to share just some thoughts on what differentiates our camps from other camps. And I'm glad you asked that, Pat. I've got 26 years professionally with the Boy Scouts of America in 8 different markets, 8 different Boy Scout councils, and worked with over 20 summer camps. And I will say our camps here, our properties and our operation here are second to none that I've seen nationwide. Fantastic operation. And you guys have really developed a formula. You know, you get great food, great staff, and great facilities, and that's and magic happens, and attendance is reflecting that. So I think the council's done a really good job of reinvesting in the properties. It's been a difficult several years for a lot of our neighbors, for us, but our board had the foresight to retain our properties and double down and invest financially in the maintenance of the properties and capital improvements of the properties. The culture of the camp staff is phenomenal. And we've got great leadership in Pat and Jeremy. And I know Sean is fantastic behind the scenes. Our rangers at the camps, they take the quality of the property to heart. They're very sincere about making sure you have a good experience at the property. I think all of that adds up to just a great formula, Pat, and congratulations and welcome everybody to the 2024 camps.
Excellent. Thank you. And we appreciate you having you on the team. And then as camp goes out this year, you'll know where things are. You don't have to get pointed to where the dining halls are and all that stuff as well. So we're looking forward to the season. So jumping right into it, we're going to talk about all things Mattituck to start off with. So Jeremy, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Pat. I'm going to take a couple minutes and just run through some of the Matitech stuff that's out there and some of the things that we're going to talk about for this year and some of the stuff that we have continuing from last year or years in the past. So this is just a quick look at our department areas, and I'm not going to read through all this for everyone, but we have 8 unique department areas. Some of them are a little different than traditional scout camps names for things. So I want to just highlight those: nature, scoutcraft, shooting sport. Wheels is our department for everything that has wheels on it, right? So it's pretty self-explanatory when you look at it, but we have a mountain biking, BMX department. They also handle RC cars and mountain boarding. So we have an extensive trail system through camp for mountain biking, as well as a new BMX area where we also do our RC cars. And then our mountain boarding, we have 3 different mountain board trails that are kind of work like a ski area. So we have a green, a blue square, and a black diamond for scouts and or scouters that are brave to try out and be able to do that. Waterfront, like anyone would already know, there's a swimming, boating, and sailing area in our waterfront. So scouts can go down, take part in that. We encourage adult leaders to go down and take part of that as well. Super exciting area for kids in camp. Our All Adventure, or what we can refer to also as Leadership Plus area, is a different area. It's kind of like our Copen climbing area, but that also encompasses our climbing tower, our canopy zipline tours, as well as some of our other high adventure type of activities that scouts can go through. And we have a STEM area at camp. So that STEM area is somewhat of a new area that's been developed over the past couple of years, but not only does it encompass our like blacksmithing and welding, but we also have our drones, computer program, rocketry, all of those type of things are occurring in that area. And the scouts really enjoy going up there. We have a pavilion where that's located in. And then we're creating a new department actually for this summer called Craft Space, which I'm going to talk about in the next couple slides. I think it's 2 slides away. We'll get into that in a little more detail. Here's some of the new stuff coming in for 2024 that we wanted to highlight, right? Our human arcade area, which is an area that we've been developing over the last couple of years, is going to get at least 1 new element brought into it. And we're looking into what that may be. Every week, Sean finds something new on Instagram or Pinterest that he sends me a picture of and says, "What about this?" So we're picking a new activity for our human arcade area that we've been developing. And that area is where we added our human foosball last year. And although it was originally thought to be more of a cub-based activity, it had huge amounts of Scouts BSA units taking advantage of the human arcade area. So it's definitely very popular. We're getting at least 10 new mountain bikes into our mountain biking area. Our fleet of mountain bikes has surpassed its useful tenure. And so we're purchasing at least 10 new mountain bikes into our mountain biking area. As I said, that's a really growing and expansive program that we've been doing with our scouts for several years now. We're expanding our Frontier Scout area. So that's an area where we do different activities, more woodsman-like activities, right? So we do rope making there with our Cub Scouts, candle making. It's where we host Tomahawk. Our Tomahawk area is there. Pioneering Merit Badge, a lot of those more outdoorsy woodsman type activities occur in that area. And so we're expanding that program as to where it could go. We're expanding and moving our nature center, which is a big deal for us because it's been at least in the same place, I could tell you, since I started going to camp in 1993. But we're expanding that area, and it's going to have an indoor and outdoor component to it, and we'll talk a little more about it in the next slide. Our craft space area, as I talked about, go back, Pat.
You said the magic
We got
word.
it. I know, I apologize. Jumped the gun. We are replacing our free fall, which is the slide in the waterfront that was damaged last year. So we'll be replacing that. We're expanding our canopy and zip line tour, which we have now, which is 2 zip lines that go over the backside of our lake. So we'll be expanding that to add additional zip linings and elements to the canopy tour. And we found out last night, actually, that we will be receiving all new archery bows this year. So we are moving in a great direction, expanding program, but also maintaining the quality of program that we have now. So as I talked about, our new nature area, it's going to have an indoor-outdoor display areas, which will allow us to have different types of animals that are there for kids to engage with, but also new teaching area. There's going to be a lakefront observation area where scouts can study the different ecosystem of our particular lake. Dedicated nature fishing area for fishing merit badge. And this will allow them to really expand our nature program, which has really been a big center of our camp for a long time. But this is new programs that we're bringing in because of a new location. And then we added the craft space area, and I won't read the huge long paragraph to you there, but it's going to be an interesting thing. It's kind of built around a makerspace model. They are offering some additional merit badges to our merit badge lineup. But for the most part, it's going to be an area where kids can explore different types of crafts, different types of makes, different types of material processing. We're going to have the ability for them to be able to make patrol t-shirts. We're going to have the ability for them to be able to make, name tags, laser engravers, CNC machines, that kind of thing. So kids will be able to design and make right there. There's some of the patrol programs, but then also have merit badges that are associated with that type of model. All right, Mr. Boyd. There we go. So as you can see, and this is one of the things we wanted to point out here in this particular slide, we're always open to try some new things. So we're expanding our program with ideas that we think are important. But as Mark was saying before, our programs are ever expanding, and we're always trying to find that next thing that scouts and scout leaders are going to be looking for. So if you have something, an idea, let us know. One of our Cub leaders brought up the idea of a splatter paint room, and we added that into the Cub Scout program a couple years ago. Or the adult leaders wanted to go float around on inner tubes, so we bought a bunch of inner tubes, and we have our adult leader float, or our new Lego room that we're incorporating over the last couple of years, and blacksmithing as well. So if you have an idea that's out there and you think it's something that's going to be valuable to the program and that scouts will get something out of, then we're game to try it and want to be able to support you in that as well. So let us know if you have an innovative idea. Next, thanks, Pat. Camp Mattituck offers 82 different merit badges. And as I'm talking right now, I know that on our website, Noah Cross is posting our program guide for this year. So there'll be a big post that goes out on Facebook tomorrow, letting you know it's out there. But if you go there, you can sneak a peek. The new badges that we're offering for this year are incorporated into that new department craft space. So we have textiles, movie making, railroading's not, but sculpture is. Railroading is just a standalone merit badge, but our location to the Thomaston train station gives us the ability to offer that and have them come do some programming with us as well. But the other three badges are going to be incorporated into the craft space department that I spoke about earlier. And we're trying a new model with our specialty weeks this year. We're offering them all during our week 1 session of camp. So it will all be between June 30th and July 6th that those will run. So these are specialty area camps that are dedicated towards particular topics. So during that time, take for example, our Trail to Eagle camp. We have some members of the Western District Advancement Committee. So these are the guys or girls that are going to be sitting right in the room when you're doing your Eagle Border Review or reading your paperwork ahead of time, that are going to help facilitate those conversations during that class, prep you for during that week, prep you for how your Eagle package should look, and move you in the right direction to make sure to prepare you for that. Our STEM week at Mattituck focuses around our STEM department, and our art week is something we're adding to help support our new craft space department. So some very interesting things out there, and some unique programs that are offered during those weeks, and it'll be focused on your particular skill set or what you're looking for out of the program. Trailblazers is Camp Mattituck's version of a provisional scout, or what traditionally would have been referred to as a provisional scout. These are scouts that come as individuals to camp, and we encourage everyone to do that in some way. It gives you another opportunity, another perspective of camp. It gives you another chance to come out and see what our properties and what our camps have to offer. And Sean's going to tell you in a little while about the incredible discount you get for your second week of camp. We want everyone to come with their unit, but then there's an opportunity for you to come as just a scout and be put into a unit. So during these weeks, we offer the adult leadership through the camp. We have provisional or trailblazer scoutmasters that will be there to provide that adult leadership, and you'll get to come and experience camp with another group of kids that you maybe didn't know beforehand, or that your scouts didn't know beforehand. So as you go back to your units, adult leaders, let your scouts know that there's another opportunity to come to camp that isn't just the traditional way. And it's a very unique way, and they leave this with a great perspective as to how other units run and other activities that other units do. So it's a really great opportunity and helps build a year-round program for all of us. Next, Pat. All right, our campsites at camp, right? We have 11 summer camp sites with facility access in each site. 7 of those campsites have their own showers built into the campsites. The farthest site from our dining hall is about 1.75 miles. So even though camp looks like it's really big, the farthest site you're going to walk to get from our dining hall to your campsite is less than a mile. All of them have 2 or 4 person canvas tents with cots and mattresses, flagpoles, flags, bulletin boards, and due to a grant last year, we also put in some more permanent structure patrol meeting areas, as well as the traditional patrol meeting flies that are usually up. All right, Pat. And last on the program aspect of things, I guess we mentioned Scouts BSA Day Camp. So this is a program that we started several years ago. Not many kids take advantage of it, but we want to put it out there as an option, especially for what I've noticed is it's been really great for your crossovers that maybe want to do a week of Scouts BSA Day Camp before coming to spend overnight camp. And it really does ease them into the program before coming to spend an entire week overnight. That's what I've seen as the most use of it. The second is probably the 17-year-old scout who has to work, but also needs to finish certain merit badges to become an Eagle Scout. So these opportunities are there for those scouts to maybe not be able to commit a full day or a full day and night at camp, but it does allow them to spend some time at camp, be able to move them forward in advancement, but also have a lot of fun. Next slide. So this is my contact information. I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't mention also that we just had some exciting news just last weekend. Last weekend, the Matatuck Volunteers, which is our support group, voted to and committed financial money as well as volunteer support towards putting into place a new maintenance plan for camp. We've set some goals for the next coming years, or next year really. But the first 6 months is extensive, and the volunteer group has committed about $20,000 to start in those projects, which will put new roofs on almost all of the buildings in the central area of camp, possibly some renovations in parts of the dining hall and some other areas. So it's an exciting time to be at camp. It's an exciting time for all of us to be able to see momentum moving forward. So that's my contact information. I'm happy to answer any questions. And thank you very much for the time.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm not very good at regular foosball, so I think I would be terrible at human foosball. So
come on, Pat, we can play it. Well, the 4 of us are going to have a game next time we're there.
Sounds good. Moving on, Sean Fogel is going to talk a little bit about NYLT, our National Youth Leadership Training, and the 2 great offerings that we have. So Sean, the floor is yours.
Yeah, before I begin, I want to give a shout out to on Facebook. I've been following who's been joining us in the chat that's going on there. And some guy named Tim, I don't know if it's spam or not, but he's reporting in from Qatar, the country of Qatar in the Middle East. So kudos to Tim out there for who knows what time it is. It's got to be late, but hope you stay safe out there. And thanks for joining us all the way from Qatar. Yeah, so National Youth Leader Training, or short NYLT, is BSA's premier youth leadership development program. It's a national sanctioned training, but we perform it here at the local council level. It's an exciting 6-day program designed for youth to learn leadership skills that will help them succeed, both in scouting and in life. Well, last year we actually ran 2 courses for the first time in a few years. We saw a need. The course was been run at Webster for a long time, and it kept on filling up. And a lot of courses around us were filling up, so we found the need. And the Wilcomen folks, stepped up. Jeff Sizer and his crew and Lou out there, Wilcomen stepped up to run a course out there. So now we're going to run it again, and it worked really well last year. Both courses had lots of scouts in it, from troops all across the basically New England area. And you can see the dates up there. Everything is live. Registration is live, and I'll post the link here, and I'll chat to everyone, and I'll throw the link in there. But you can see it, Wilcomen, July 7th through the 13th. And then Webster's, basically their week 7 program, August 4th through the 10th, and that's at J&W. We have 2 great course directors already selected. Jeff's returning as a course director over at Jeff Sizer, is returning as course director over there at Wilcomen, and Anne Marie, newly minted course director for J&W. She was the assistant course director last year with Cheryl, who did a great job. And we have just a great tradition going at J&W for NYLT, and one that's blossoming over there at Wilcomen. So we're hopeful to fill both courses. You can see the kind of requirements there on the right side of the screen. The one thing I will point out is registration's been like this for a couple years now, but the course is not full. So when you get on a wait list, that's designed on purpose. So we want you to sign up, and you're going to be put on a wait list, and there we're going to basically make sure the proper vetting happens, make sure the parent knows you've signed up, make sure the leader of your unit knows you've signed up, make sure you met all the requirements there, so we could admit you in, and there we go. It's for females and males, and we're just lucky to have looking forward to having 2 great courses this summer.
All right. Thank you, Sean. And now transitioning over to Jan Webster. And it is, as Jeremy said, an exciting time. And I would share that at Webster. There's a lot of momentum right now, which is great, being January, that the enthusiasm that troops have and their interest for camp is great. And so the staff and the Friends group feel really supported by all involved. And so we're excited to roll out the camp. So if you're new to Jan Webster, we're a 1,200 acre full service scout reservation in Ashford, Connecticut, which is the closest landmark, I always say, is about 10 minutes from the main campus of the University of Connecticut. So about an hour from Boston and about 2 hours from New York City, in the northeast corner, the quiet corner, or the last Green Valley of Connecticut. And we really run 3 main programs over the course of the summer in the base camp. We run 6 weeks of traditional Scouts BSA resident camp for units to come in, as well as our provisional program, the Thunderbirds. We run 6 weeks of Cub Scout day camp. And then week 7 is an advanced specialty camp program for older scouts, as well as individual specialty items. The chef prep programs are one of our most popular. We run NYLT, and we run Cub Scout and Webelos resident camp, an Arrow of Light resident camp, both mini and full weeks. We'll talk a little bit about next week. It's important to point out that our council has been on top of this, and I'm very proud to say that since the Scouts BSA program has changed, we've seen more and more girls troops coming to camp, which has been great for the program, fully adapted. A lot of councils do this a lot of different ways, and our female population of campers, camp staff, have continued to grow. So if you're a girls troop and you're a little bit nervous about summer camp, there's some great mentors that we're willing to connect with folks and kind of work through this process as well. But it's been very, very successful for the last 3 years, and we're a camp that supports both our boys troops and our girls troops as well. And I think that's worth noting at the outset. Program wise, we consider ourselves a traditional scout camp, but with one key caveat. The key caveat is that scouting and individuals change over time. So the principles and the essence of what makes camp great is the same for the last 61 years, but the programs and the methods and how we go about it changes. And a couple years ago, we were featured in Scout Life magazine, which is great. Our outdoor adventure crew is there with the Paul Bunyan program, which is a really unique thing. And we often follow the model that when you come to camp, you kind of tell us what you want. You pick off the menu, and if something that you want to do that may not be on the menu, but it's safe, it's within the realm of scouting, the answer on our end is going to be yes. So every troop is in a really different spot. So let us know now as you're planning and as we're planning how we can best build a program to support your unit, and our team will do our very best to get you there. And so our program can best be summed up kind of in 3 tiers, right? And so the first tier is the basic scout program. So you see 10 program areas, Apex, which is our tech center, aquatics, biking and athletics, ecology, conservation, handicraft, industrial arts, which is welding, automotive maintenance, blacksmithing, outdoor adventure, which is your traditional scoutcraft program, project cope and climbing, which is both in camp as well as natural rock face nearby, and shooting sports. So that's your basic scout program that's there, as well as the first class path, which is designed for scouts that are brand new to scouting. So your classic tender feet, if you will. Our tier 2 program is designed for older scouts, and this includes the ATV power sports, which you have to be 14 years or older. Area 51, which is a land navigation course that puts in a lot of basic scout skills and ends on a paintball course. The Paul Bunyan Woodsman program, the cowboy action shooting, which you have to be 14 years or older. These are designed for your older scouts to keep them engaged. And then our third tier is our week 7 specialty programs for scouts that want to really get more involved in programs. So our fish camp and our chef prep and these types of programs. Week 7 is also a recall week where we often will have scouts from the last 6 weeks come back for kind of a good end of the season bash, if you will. Many of you have asked, so tonight we are debuting something new. We are continuing to have theme breakfast as we've had in the past. But we now have each week has a different theme to it. So we've long had the week 6 lumberjack games, which has been very, very popular. But now you can, each week of the summer has a unique and different theme to it. I know Sean is a big Viking fan, right? So he's excited to be able to use his horns and his hat out in public. So this opportunity exists. But each week has got a unique theme to it. And there'll be some special programming one night a week around that as well. So depending on the week you're coming, depending on what the theme is for that week. We have a lot of exciting facilities upgrades that are going on at camp. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in this past off season. Just some of the ones that I'll mention is if you're a troop that uses Site 12, which is near the Wilderness Waterfront and the Files Track. Site 12 is getting a complete redo. There's been stumps removed, all the platforms removed, it's being enlarged. It's getting a brand new pavilion. It's a project of the Friends of Webster. So that site is getting a rehab. We try to do one site every year. We're also moving our bike shop from the old shed in the center of camp up to where Fenway Park is. And that sports area that opened last year. So the bikes will be in the same place with the rest of the athletic program up in that part of the world. And I also want to highlight a little bit a long-term commitment that Stanley Black & Decker, which is a Connecticut-based company, has committed to scouting. Stanley's long been a supporter of this council in lots of different ways. And they made a 3-year gift pledge for capital improvements to Jane Webster that included the tractor that you saw on the slide before, which is here and getting good use. They're replacing a good number of our tents. We have 100 of them that came in already, which is a significant expenditure. And they've also committed over the next 2 years to fund the building of some modern bathroom facilities. So if you're a troop that stays in the Brand Track sites 8, 9, 10, Stanley is committed to fund putting flush toilets in that area. And then the following year in the Files Tract, sites 11 and 12. So I just also wanted to use this kind of platform to thank Stanley for their long-term commitment and to highlight really some much needed infrastructure work that they've committed to do on behalf of scouting as well. And obviously those who've been following us on social media, the biggest improvement this year will be the opening of the Peter Perry Welcome Center in the center of camp. At the end of last year, many of you who were in camp saw the foundation work. Well, the building is ahead of schedule, and it's scheduled to open on April 1st. So you see a view kind of from the outside, and the top two pictures are actually from on Saturday. The big open room is going to be our new trading post space, which is an unbelievable venue. There's some volunteers that are working on the kind of the great room, which is the entrance to the building where you see the triangle window. That's where the heart of the camp program is going to be. And as a result, the health center, which is kind of being rebranded as a health and wellness center, is going to be moving into the lower level of this. The trading post and a snack bar area is going to be opening on the upper level. The Heritage Center, which was off the parking lot, really in a reclaimed office trailer, which has been removed, is moving into the lower level. And all of our administrative offices are going to be there as well. So this is an exciting development, gift of the Perry Legacy Fund from a longtime camp supporter and council board member who unfortunately passed away in 21 and left us this legacy gift. So we're really, really excited to open this facility this summer to be able to support much better all of the operations and the fun that happens in camp. And again, speaking of the fun, there is a little bit of something for everybody. And so, the bottom line of camp, it comes down to camp spirit. So we're continuing to do the setup that we did last year with great success of the morning. Breakfast and lunch are going to be walk-through meals, and dinner is going to be a formal sit-down dinner. We're going to continue to offer, although we're moving around some days of when we're going to do, for example, our outpost programs and some of those types of traditional scouting. And you see our outdoor adventure department there. And we're continuing our local relationships with the specialty camps up in the top part. Much like Jeremy, who was pushing the Trailblazers, the companion piece is the Thunderbirds, which is our provisional program, which stays up in Site 2B. There's two bungalows, a boys' bungalow, a girls' bungalow, as well as tents in that site with a staff member who acts as a scoutmaster. And there are some scouts who have literally come to camp all summer long. They come with their troop, and then they come back as provisional as well. So it's a comfortable environment, and it gets a chance to keep working on stuff as well. So if your troop attends J.N. Webster and you want to go to another week, the Thunderbirds is your route. If your troop takes advantage of a program elsewhere and not in our council, this is an opportunity for a scout to come to camp on their own, and we create a troop and a patrol. And often some people are nervous, like, I may not know anybody. Well, I will tell you, and I'm sure Jeremy would say the same thing. I walk into the Thunderbird site on Monday night, and you would think that everybody there had been scouts in their troop for years. So that edge and that nervousness is often unfounded. So if you're thinking about a provisional program, it continues to grow, and we have a great, safe, supported program to follow that piece up. If you're trying to figure out kind of different perspectives, we offer a number of different social media outlets. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, please, follow us, and you'll see over the course of the year more information that's prepping for the summer camp season, as well as you can go look back in the archives and get a sense of what some other scouts in the past, if you're new to camp, will be able to do. And again, we're open and available. We are booking up, so weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6 have reached our capacity. We're taking openings for weeks 1, 2, and 7. So depending on the size of your unit, we're at that point. But please, if you haven't registered for camp yet, and you're still thinking about it, send me a note so we can see where we can best fit you in. As numbers come in, we don't want to overbook our camps week, but we also want to be flexible to work with each of you as well. And the same way that Jeremy ended his talk, there's a lot of momentum in camp right now, and we're excited to have returning families and scouts here, many of which have camped here for 61 years, and we're excited to welcome some new units from all over the country in the Northeast to Connecticut this summer as well. So we're excited to meet a number of you in person. So with that, we have some important administrative, but yet sometimes boring stuff to go over. And we'll go through that. So Sean, do you want to kick us off with the campership program?
Sure. Yeah. I think Mark can correct me here if I'm wrong. I think it's our goal to ensure that finances are the last reason why a scout can't enjoy our program. And we do our best. The rising costs of everything, everyone knows. But we do our best, right? So this past year in 2023, we doled out $55,000 worth of camperships. And that all the campership links are live as of yesterday. So if you go to ctscouting.org, go to camping, any of the camping pages, whether you're a Cub Scout or Scouts BSA, there is the campership link form. It's up and running, and we'll take those until end of April. And then as far as this goes, as our Peter and Carmen Lucia Buck Foundation, we are blessed here in the Connecticut Rivers Council to receive a grant from these fine folks who basically supplement the program for every kid that comes through our council's camps. And what they do is they subsidize basically $35 off each kid that comes to our camps through the Scout BSA program. So you see our camps are one of the most economical camps in the Northeast region, and our base fee, early bird, which we want everyone to pay. We don't want anybody paying later than that. We try to be as flexible as possible and really listen to our units over the past couple of years. There's no tricks, there's no gimmicks, there's no pat your head, jump on one leg and pat yourself on the head type of stuff. It's very simple, plain, down to earth. $525 for the early bird rate if paid by May 1st, and then anything after that, it's $560. We do honor the new scout and or crossover. So if you have a new scout that's joining your troop in late May and they want to really go to camp, or if they just moved into the area, or we have a lot of military, Navy, or Coast Guard in our area that you have some families that come in late in the process. Those scouts will be $525, same as the early bird, and also same as crossover. So if you have crossovers that are, the pack's not crossing over a few scouts until later in the year, they pay $525 as well. So we really try to make that as basic as possible. Some of the other discounts that apply, we do have sibling discounts. It's basically $25 off per sibling. In the system, though, it reads it buy one, get one, $50 off. So just a headline that, but it's basically $25 off every sibling. And then we're going to give $150 off for every scout that returns for a second week. So it'll be $375 for every second week scout that comes. And that's applied. All those discounts are also applied in the NYLT course. So if you have a scout that's going to Wacomin that's doing the NYLT course early, but also has a troop going to Mattituck later on, they would be entitled to the second week discount. So our system's pretty good. We've gone with Black Pug for, 3 years now, guys, about. It's pretty good. We get most of our, we figure out most issues pretty quick it's pretty intuitive. However, some things we do slip through the cracks. We might miss something here or there. But that's where our assistant and myself come in. Michelle Sabosley, everyone probably knows at this point. She's a wonder with Black Pug, and she really fixes everything on the back end. And then there's also me, if all else fails, that we can get you squared away if any discounts are missed or you have any questions as far as that go.
I just want to point out, if I can cut in for a second, Sean, camp is expensive. We understand that. But putting it in perspective, if you look at what a lot of other private camp offerings here in Connecticut are, they're often twice the amount of a week of scout camp. And if you look around at a lot of other camps in the Northeast as well, they're significantly higher than our fees. So we've tried to make camp affordable. But also, we have a lot of expenses that come into play, and we're able to stay affordable because of the Buck Foundation, because of good kind of fiscal sense on our part, trying to buy only what we need. And a lot of times folks will, look around and see some other opportunities and then look at the price and realize that these opportunities cost a lot more. So I just wanted to highlight and recognize that we are probably in the Northeast, one of the more economical offerings that are out there. And that's because we're trying to listen to our base, but also plan so that we don't have any of these last minute things that suddenly make the fee $600. So we're trying to continue this balance. We've been very successful the last couple of years, and the Buck Foundation certainly helps that as well. But just know the true cost of camp is much more than just $525 that you're paying, that we have some great benefactors that help with that. So thanks, Sean.
Right, great point. And I did put in the chat to everyone. So I did mention Black Pug. If not, I know we have probably about 50% of our scouts come from out of council. So if they're not used to the Black Pug system, we did create an event registration account users guide. It is linked right on the Scout BSA page, but I just sent everyone out the link. It has helpful videos on how to manage your accounts and update rosters and sign up for merit badges. Once again, pretty intuitive, but if you need help, Michelle or myself are going to be there for you.
Excellent. So a little bit on merit badge registration now that Sean brought that up. Our merit badge registration will open in March. There was a question in the chat earlier about, or on the Q&A portion, about whether or not you had to wait till everyone was paid in full, and that is not the case, but it will open in March for scouts to start to register for merit badges. So all of that is done through the Black Pug system, and that's something we moved through over the past 2 or 3 years, that we no longer ask anyone to bring a paper blue card with them, nor will you get paper blue cards when you leave. The Black Pug system allows us to email out your registration link, a download for Scout Book, as well as a printout as to each merit badge and what your scouts have earned over the time that they were at camp. It's important to note, I guess, for everyone that's here, because this is a question I get constantly after a scout troop leaves. Whoever was the registered adult through the system, whoever did the registration process is going to be the one that those communications go out to. We will also attempt to send it out to the other adult leaders that came that week, but occasionally we miss someone. The system itself will send them out directly to whoever registered the troop for camp and whoever put in those merit badges. So please make sure, one, that early as possible you're registering your scouts in the Black Pug system, that you are doing it electronically. It does offer you the opportunity to switch kids around pretty easily in merit badges if they change their mind. And it does also give us the opportunity, let's say on Sunday night, when you show up at camp at midnight, it turns off your access to change kids' merit badge schedules. Monday morning-ish, Monday during the day, they can go to a different merit badge, and our counselors or our office staff have the ability to switch those kids around. So we don't want to limit a kid. We don't want him to find out none of his friends are in the merit badge and he can't change and that kind of stuff. There's option there for that to happen on Monday during the first merit badge session. But it is really important that we have your scouts in there so we can get accurate numbers for our counselors and make sure that we have all the program materials there to support your kids when they show up to the badge.
Yep, and
Thanks,
the same goes for back to the prior slide. We were talking about the fee. May 1st is a very generous deadline that we put for the early bird fee, and so we're asking you to try to be the best that you can to enter your scouts there, because that's a huge indicator. Only 2 months out till camp starts for that. So if you have your stuff together, you can start putting it in to where you made your site reservation now. You don't have to wait till May 1st to do it. But we literally that day sit there and keep hitting the refresh button to kind of see where things are based off that. And so it's all about communication from the contingent coordinators with us as well. So if you initially thought you're going to have 40 kids when you put down your site deposit and it's looking to be 50, or if it's looking to be 15, that kind of communication is really helpful to us as we're managing stuff and we're planning for all these merit badge sections, many of which require materials and some additional supplies and planning and staffing for as well. So Black Pug is great. I was nervous when we first made the jump, and it has been a great system. It's been flawless, and there's been some unit leaders who were not happy when we did it, and they said that they would never go back after experiencing it. So if you're new to that, it is a very, very good system as well. I would be remiss if I did not. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, Pat. One update. It's probably not too important, but Tim, our friend from Qatar, has reported online on Facebook that it's not spam and it's 3:30 a.m. over there. So cheers to Tim.
Oh, way to go. Go, Tim.
When you know there's excitement, you'll log on at whatever hour, I guess.
That's right.
I would be remiss if I didn't speak on behalf of the health officers at each of our camps. That health and safety is important and the bottom line of everything we do, and health forms are important. And the best advice is to begin that process now. and work with your parents. We require, per the laws of the state of Connecticut, as well as the BSA accreditation guidelines, that all participants need to have a health form that is a physical within a year of summer camp. And so all of our websites have the health form packet. There's the ABC, which is pretty standard BSA health form. But important note, particularly to units that are outside of Connecticut that may be coming here, there's some additional forms in our packet that are required by state law to come here. There's an administration of medication form. There's an if a student is on a care plan, which the parents will know because it's very common in the school system, that will need to be attached, as well as some other treatment type stuff. So when you look at the packet that's on our website, it'll have every form that may be applicable to each scout that comes to camp. And so don't just go to the National BSA site and download that as well. Some of the questions we often get is, my scout just had a physical for school. Is that okay? Well, that physical, if it's signed by a doctor, can be stapled with the BSA packet. Parents sign their pieces of it, and it can be put into the larger packet as well. But having that physical within a year of camp is really, really important. And so the best way to get ahead of this is to be communicating with your parents of your prospective scouts now, what they will be required to do, so you as unit leaders can collect them, and then follow the process in each of the camps that kind of have them reviewed. And then that sets the stage to be able to collect medication and catalog that correctly on Sunday during the check-in process. So as we get closer to camp, there'll be more conversations about the health form system, but the message that we hope each and every person will leave with today is download the packet and create a plan for when you're going to meet with your physician and get that physical, so scouts not restricted from any type of camp activity because their physical's expired or they do not have one on record as well. So please plan ahead in that regard.
Hey, Pat, we just got a great question. Someone asked if we could post the medical form packet to the chat, and I did that. So I just put the ctscouting.org/camping, which also has your campership form link in there. So if I know we got a question about that in the link too. And then also it also has the medical form all the way down on the bottom of the page. But both those two links in there, that should get you all squared away.
And we'll do a follow-up email to everybody registered for tonight with some of these hot links on stuff like that, as well as the recording.
Yeah, and people asked if we could send out the video. So the video is going to be too large to send out to an email. But what we'll do is it may take us a few days, maybe middle of the week, but we'll get it uploaded to our council Facebook or YouTube page. And then that way we'll be able to create a quick link, and then whoever wants it, we can send. I got a couple emails already. So thanks for those stewardess people that want to have that link. But we're able to accommodate that. Maybe just send us a note to one of us, and we'll get it out to you.
Yeah, and we'll do a follow-up to everybody as well. So, All right, Jeremy.
All right, so I did some quick math over here, and I'm assuming Pat is about the same as me, being that we are 3 days apart in age. I started working at camp in 1996 and never left, right? And it's important to note that it's probably been one of the most formative things in my life that I've been able to do, and it's definitely one of the larger, more important things in my life. I really feel like it's a great opportunity to give back, but it's also a great leadership development opportunity for your scouts. I have never seen a scout grow more than when they show up on staff week and that first time from when they leave, 6 to 7 weeks later. It really is a great transforming event. They build great relationships with other scouts. They learn a lot about the program and different program offerings that are out there. I can't talk enough about being a camp staff member. Plus, it's just a great environment to be in. One, parents, we take them away and they're not in your house for 7 weeks. So they're not eating. You're not doing any of that stuff. You're not paying for their food. And we're watching them for you. We're feeding them. We're housing them. They're giving back, and they're helping other scouts advance. So it really is just an incredible opportunity. It builds a great relationship with others. And you really do join a family-like atmosphere for that 6 weeks or 7 weeks that you're there at camp. So I would encourage any adult leader that thinks that they have a scout that may want to be a staff member or would make a good staff member, even if they're on the fence about it, have them apply, have them talk to us. We'll talk to them, see where they're going to be a good fit, see how they might be able to be a good fit, whether it's at J&W or whether it's at Mattituck. I can't speak highly enough about the staffs that we have, the professionalism and the programs that we put on. So if your scouts or you want to be involved in that, please, by all means, have them reach out to us, have them apply. Our interview dates, our applications are all on our respective websites. And I think Pat is going to talk a little bit about the pre-staff.
Yeah, I would just point
CIT
out
program.
that you started a couple of years earlier than me. I was a lifeguard at a beach in a municipality for 2 years before I came to camp staff in '98. So you were my senior. But our youngest staff member last year was 15 years old, and our oldest staff member was 80 years old. And there's a group of teachers, there's a good group of college students that started as junior staff. And then there are some of the best and the brightest scouts in our troops that come in our junior staff, which are 15, 16, and 17-year-olds. There's a place for nearly everybody on the camp staff. There's paid positions, there's volunteer positions for some adults. And we are always in particular need of certain specialties, right? So if you're a healthcare professional, an EMT, a paramedic, or a nurse, there's a role for that. We're always looking for food service professionals, folks who have experience in food service operations. Frankly, some of our highest paid jobs in camp are in the food service part for even junior staff members. And of course, there's roles in all the program areas as well. So we're looking for a diverse group of folks that represents the camper population that we have and the best that scouting has to offer. And there is no other resume builder better than working at a camp staff. The amount of skills and the amount of tasks that you're responsible for, in many cases before you're 18, there's no other place that I know of that you can build that type of resume and build those types of skills going forward. And then a quick plug for the CIT program, which is 14 and 15-year-olds. Much like NYLT, it is a hybrid of leadership skills as well as I would best describe as an internship in different areas of camp. It's a 1-week commitment. You pay for the first week. Basic fees, $200 for food and housing, and you could be invited to continue on for additional weeks with no fee. You work around different areas of camp, get a sense of the camp operation as an intern. You assist in instruction and administering the program. It's a chance you also can earn some merit badges and pick up some leadership skills and demonstrate some leadership skills as well. So maybe if you're thinking about the camp staff thing, but you're not quite sure, you're not available for the entire season, the CIT program is a great program to kind of get your feet wet and see if this is the type of environment that you want to be at. And I will say a lot of our area directors and department heads all started in the CIT Corps. So it is a great program to come back to camp as well. And we've been very fortunate to have some great teams over the years. And this year, the applicant pool is very, very strong. And we would encourage scouts and adults and alumni and family members, if you're thinking of looking for something to do that has purpose this summer, camp staff is the place to be. Sean was telling stories of his days on camp staff, right? What was your you were the
I was started in '99, so so a little bit younger, but I started out in the dish room just like every good scout should in my mind. So
yeah, very good, very good, very good. All right, so we're going to get to the kind of the Q&A piece. So now we are officially in the Hollywood Squares. Before we do our final thoughts, Sean, what questions are lingering out there that maybe we haven't answered yet?
No, I think Jeremy and I cruised through a bunch of them. A couple actually specific to Webster, Pat. So you might want to hop in a couple of those
Okay,
when you get a
excellent.
chance, and good enough for everybody. But I just want to say, I think at the peak of this, I was watching the numbers. We had 118 people that signed on as participants to this webinar, and another 20. So we had almost close to 140 people on this. So I really appreciate everyone hopping on, learning what there is to know about Connecticut Rivers camps. We know you. I'm going to sound like an airline Stewart person here and say we know you have options when you go to summer camp, and we're glad you found a home with us. And we can't wait to see you in a few months in late June and in July and August at our camps. We just hope you have a great experience, and we're here for you.
All right, so a couple questions popped up. Is there a deadline for campership, Sean?
So it's posted on our thing. I think it's April 15th. I have to retake the look, but a lot of people were asking if I have a scout that's asking for a campership, and will they know by May 1st is basically the crux of it. And the answer is yes. So if they get the campership in the posted deadline, we'll have an answer. It will get tight in some cases, especially if it's later on or they're waiting to turn in the campership form, just like last year it's been. And the reason is because we want to make sure that scouts can get some financial assistance to come to camp. So it may take us a little bit longer because we get a lot of volume, and a lot of people, wait until April 15th or the very last second they can, which is fine. I want that to still be the case if we can, the earlier the better. But I'd rather get it in by the deadline than not, and they'll know by May 1st.
Excellent. Question that's from Carl, Troop 306 Granby. Welcome. For Webster, the program officially closes on Friday night, but units, many of which have the option to stay over. It's a little bit of an a la carte program on Saturday morning. The camp is open Friday night into Saturday, and many troops stay. So it is a little bit of a choice for what your unit wants to do. So I see that question. Question about program guides being published. They will be published. Some last minute things for both camps. Jeremy alluded to, and the Webster one is in the same boat. I need one more person to do an edit of the merit badge roster before we go live, but I would expect to see all of them up very, very soon. Question about pre-camp swim tests accepted by the camp. Jeremy, you want to hit up Manitoc's policy?
Well, pre-camp swim tests be accepted by the camp. Technically, I think the policy is, and I'm reverting back to trying to think about it, is that it has to be done within the calendar year by a BSA certified waterfront director, or instructor. So as long as that is the case, we can honor those. However, it does yield to the waterfront director on the property to really evaluate and make that decision. If they feel uncomfortable with something going into it, they can question that.
Yep, and at Webster we have a form in the Basecamp hub page which explains what the process would be to do your swim test ahead of time as well.
Right.
And it comes down to having a competent individual who has some training to be able to do that. So it is there as well. So shout out to Troop 504 from Virginia Beach. Looking forward to having you this summer. All right, I'm looking through the Q&A here. It looks like everything has been answered.
We have a, I don't want to call it a threatening comment on our Facebook, but it's from the ever famous Gus Haskell saying, "Don't forget your Form D of the state Connecticut company, form." So your health form,
in the back of my head, I had Gus's voice telling me to push that. So
we'll tell her you passed.
Yeah, we're always available for a conversation. For anybody who wants to talk more, we have staff members that are happy to go do unit presentations. We're going to kind of do our final thoughts here, go around the circle. But this is just the beginning of the conversation. That's why we do this in January early. It's by no means the end. And if you're enrolled in camp, each of Jeremy and I will be in contact with you and other members of the team as the spring goes along. So with that, I guess we'll give the final word. Sean, what's your final thought here tonight?
I kind of already gave it. I just really appreciate everyone hopping on. I really appreciate Pat and Jeremy and their work, and then Lou's crew, the Sizer crew out at Wacomin, and all the friends groups that really make our camps just pristine and really the place to be, and create a safe and fun atmosphere for scouts to hang out with us for 10 weeks in the summer, staff included. Really appreciate everyone there and your guys' leadership on those two properties.
Thank you. Jeremy, your thoughts?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Pat. I was reading the last question that just popped in. If you want to answer it while I give my final thoughts. I was going to say that there's a couple things I wanted to touch on as we close this, right? One, it was exciting for everyone to see this many people show up, and for all the exciting things that are going on. As Pat said, we're available to all of you. It's our job to make sure that we're providing the program that Scouts wants, that Scout leaders want, and to make sure that we're supporting your unit activities throughout the year through an incredible summer camp experience. So don't ever hesitate to reach out. You can text us, you can email us, you can call us on the telephone. We're going to get back to you. We're going to try to figure out how to make it work for you. It may not be Pat or I that you're talking to. If you have a program specific question, it may be one of our program directors gets in touch with you. But we want to make sure that that opportunity for your scouts to personalize what they're doing at camp and make it worthwhile for all of them is there, and is really important for all of you. I also wanted to point out that our camps, although we're talking about summer camp right now, are facilities that are used year round. You could look at our council website, our camp's websites, and find activities that are occurring all year, whether it's a Polar Cub activity, Scouts PSA weekend activities, or fishing derbies that are happening. All of our camps are utilized all year, and it's really important, and we want to make sure that all of you are engaging in program offerings that we have for you. So although we are really excited to kick off on these coldest days of January, our summer camp camping season, it's also important to note that we have a lot of off-season programs that are occurring at our camps, and we hope to see you at one of them very soon.
All right, thank you. Kind of my last thought is this, is that much like Jeremy said, we all have incredibly busy lives and lots of stuff going on. And one of the reasons that I've stayed involved in the camping program and the summer camp program is because you see people grow literally right before your eyes. That a scout that comes to camp on Sunday often has more confidence. They've done something new. They tried something new when they leave on a Friday. Like, you talk about places that you can make a difference, and summer camp program is one of those. And it's one of the reasons that I stay involved on a regular basis. You know, to our units that have been loyal to the Connecticut Rivers Council and attended Mattituck and Webster for years, thank you. We appreciate it. Our foundation of our camps is built on you and your predecessors and your legacy. Those of you that are new to our camps, we want to welcome you. And we hope that after a very short period of time, you feel like you've been here all along. To our units that may go camping elsewhere, that haven't given us a try in a long time. You know, our camps of 2024 are not the same places of 1984. And we find a lot of units travel a really long distance from other states to come to Connecticut for summer camp. And so if you're a Connecticut Rivers Council unit and you know you pay an activity fee and you're part of our community, you know, we maintain these programs primarily for you, although we're happy to host guests from other councils and other places. And I guess my request would be, give us a look if you haven't in a long time. And we're not asking you to stop going to some camp you've been at, but take advantage of the Trailblazers or the Thunderbirds or those types of things, because this is your home camp. And these are the places that your local board and your staff invest in for your scouts. And so we'll truly give the last word to Mark before we close.
Thanks, Pat. Congrats on keeping this to an hour tonight. That was a ton of information. Nice work. And you guys, your leadership and your teams are amazing. I want everybody on the phone call on this call tonight to understand how truly amazing our camping and properties teams are, how dedicated they are. I trust them completely. I think I welcome you to put your trust in them as well. And my hope is for a very safe summer, a very inclusive and welcoming summer. And when I see you at camp, I'm looking for feedback. And then my last goal I'll leave with you is I want our camps to be the cleanest summer camps in the nation. Everybody that's worked with me so far, I think, realizes that that's really important to me, that when you attend our camps, you leave knowing that or feeling that it was extremely well kept up. So I'll be looking for that feedback as well. And looking forward to some sun and summertime, Pat. So let's get going here.
You got it. All right, folks. Thank you for your time tonight and have a great evening. Take care.